From Las Vegas, the entertainment, music, and sports capital of the world, it's the JJ and Johnny Show.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. It's the JJ and Johnny Show. Special guest co-host Danielle Elizabeth SawChuck back in the chair. Hey, honey.
Hi. Thanks for having me again. I love being here.
Love to have Danny back. If you're watching on John's channel, thank you guys so much for joining us. Johnny is actually at a big event playing Trump, which shouldn't surprise you, down in Texas. And he just finished a rehearsal, and he's going to try to join us here in the broadcast in just a moment. So please give us your questions, give us your feedback. Danielle Elizabeth SawChuck, around town we call her Danny. Danny is a real-life showgirl in Vegas. She has been on live stages for decades. She has all kinds of juicy stories, and maybe one or two of which she'll share with us today.
Yeah, love it. This is so exciting. Thanks for having me back. I love being here with you.
I love
and we
having
have some
you back.
fun things to talk about today.
We do. So one of the things we want to share with you guys, because right now the whole studio smells like a Vegas casino. Not really the cigarette smell.
Yeah, I was going to say which part. It could be a couple different smells.
I know, not cigarettes and stale beer. But you know those really specific kind of bougie scents that get sent all around a casino? Well, they actually all come from a company right here in Las Vegas. So how do you get your house to smell like your favorite Vegas casino? Well, we can tell you because we have a bunch of products from Aroma Retail, which is a local company that's just on Valley View, just a street, a couple blocks west of the Strip. And they're the original people who developed the scents for all the major hotels in Las Vegas.
So cool. I'm so excited. And I've never gotten to smell these yet, right? So, but you have. You know the backstories of all of these products. And I am going to free smell.
Free smell. We're going to take you on a nasal tour of the Las Vegas Strip. Well, you know what we could do is we could have you guess. So we have 4 of the major hotels on this table right here. So the interesting thing about Aroma Retail is that the company's been around for a couple decades. So my understanding is, and you can learn a lot about the history of the company if you go over and visit their retail location. It's on Valley View. Literally, it would be like a 10-minute Uber ride from any hotel you're staying at. It's really cool because they have, when you walk in the lobby, it's really quaint. It's like locally owned, but they have a smelly bar.
Ooh.
And so you can go in and go, I'm staying at Luxor. I love the smell. How can I buy that? And they'll connect you with the scent that is actually made for that hotel.
That's so cool. So you can actually have your house smell like the Luxor.
Yeah, not only your house, so you can do, you know, the what do they call these scents when you
the oil.
The reed diffuser.
Okay, yes.
So you can buy things in diffuser format, candle. Of course, over to you. Have a sniff of that candle.
This candle?
I actually guessed what that was before I looked up the hotel it's connected with. One of the major hotels on the Strip.
Oh, that smells amazing.
Currently has, I'm going to give you hints about what hotel it is.
Okay.
Currently has a lot of construction in front of it for Formula One. That narrowed it down because that's like every
That's
hotel.
the entire Strip, JJ. Okay. All right, I've got
one of Steve Wynn's hotels.
Okay.
That Steve Wynn created with Elaine Wynn back in the day.
Encore?
Close before that. Time-wise. That's the Bellagio, the scent the Bellagio.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Because my first initial thought was Encore. Because I was with her recently.
Yeah.
But, I mean, go figure, they created probably all those scents together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe they did.
That's delicious.
Isn't that interesting?
I was going to say, it smells fancy.
In fact, we have, I don't know if Wynn and Encore have the same scent. That would be a good question. But we do have the scent from the Wynn.
Okay.
So this is a big one because, I mean, the Wynn is still like kind of setting the standard, right, Cass, for like top of the line hotel in Vegas. So the scents, when they're created over at Aroma Retail, they don't get named the Wynn. They get their own name.
Okay.
And they actually do like a flavor profile. You can see all the different inspirations that went into the scent. Ooh, this is a room spray. Should we spray it in here?
Yes.
Okay, this is Asian lily. It is the scent that you smell when you walk into the wind. Ready? Oh, that's nice.
Smells like-
that is so wind.
That is so winning.
Isn't it amazing how powerful like smell memory is?
It's great, yeah.
That is completely the
Just
win.
brought me in there.
It's interesting that smells bring mood too.
Yes.
They had that on the website. It brings a certain mood and an atmosphere.
Interesting.
And it's interesting kind of what they lay out, what's in Asian Lily.
Oh, show us.
Oh, wow.
The
Look,
top-
the notes.
Yes. So top is lemon verbena, misted rain. Mid is like white rose, lily, and the base is bamboo and musk.
Wow.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of flavor in there.
So many layers, and I just wonder what the science is behind.
It's almost
all
like
these
wine.
senses. Yeah,
It's like, what's the influence
Yeah.
of the scent?
totally.
The different notes.
I have to
flavors.
say, so far, that's
That's lovely.
my favorite one.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Asian lily. So you can buy this. So not only you could get it in a room mist, you get it in a candle, or
Love it.
these are super cool, Danny. I want you to check these out. These are little tiny sticks that have scent in them, and they are for your car.
Oh my gosh.
Loving that.
Oh, look. So that's the blue ice.
Okay, so this is a Bellagio stick for your car. Do you want it for your car?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, take it.
Thanks. Oh my
So
gosh.
you can like stick it under your seat
That's
or
so
something.
cool. Oh, and it's like a little Q-tip kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
It says
these
remove
are
and sniff.
these are Bellagio's notes, the blue ice notes. If you
Okay,
guys are
show
curious.
us. And this candle's Bellagio too. Oh, watermelon.
cucumber,
Watermelon.
green apple, fresh air accord. I wonder how you acquire that scent.
Fresh air.
A rose, lily of the valley, grapefruit, musk, and blonde woods.
Blonde woods.
So interesting.
Hmm.
Cool stuff.
That's always what I wonder about wearing perfumes. I go
Yeah.
through cycles where I love to wear perfume, but then I always worry that I feel like a scent is a bit of a biased opinion.
I
you
agree.
know?
It's subjective,
It very much so.
right?
So some people might love the way you smell,
Yep.
but then have you ever walked by somebody and you're like, whoa, that's intoxicating and not the best? Like you're like, I don't know if I can be around this person. It's giving me a headache. I'm always worried that when I wear something that I'm going to be that person for somebody else, and that stresses me out.
Well, Cass and I were just talking about how some people are so intensely sensitive to smell, like my mother, like her father. Some people have allergies. Some people just have a very, very heightened sense of smell.
I'm one of those people.
You have a heightened sense of
I
smell.
do. I can
Yeah.
smell when the neighbor, like on the other side of our
Yep.
fence, is out in their yard, and we're on half-acre lots.
You can smell it.
smoking a cigarette.
Oh, well,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
cigarettes.
But
Yeah.
like from inside my house. And most of the
Yeah.
time my husband doesn't. But I'm like, I can smell it. I know they're out there.
So I actually have a neighbor. That uses such strong cleaning products in their house
Oh, whoa.
that it wafts out of their yard over into our yard.
Oh my
no.
gosh.
So certain times during the week, I smell their cleaning products.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It means they're probably not natural cleaning products.
I
And
think,
hopefully they're not mixing cleaning products
Ew.
and creating
Causes- Is
that a
hazardous
big-
gas.
Cass, tell us what happens when you mix cleaning products.
I don't know if it's like it creates some kind of gas. There's like a chemical reaction if you mix. I think it's bleach and some soaps or something, but it can't create
Oh.
a gas. It's hazardous.
well,
Yeah,
something
super
about
toxic.
there's some kind of magic combination with baking soda.
Baking soda.
I don't know, but I use vinegar to clean everything. So
I like vinegar too.
Yeah.
Not always
a lot
the
of
best
people
smell,
hate
but
that smell.
Ugh.
Hate that smell. What is your favorite cleaner to use? Let us know in the chat. We'd love to.
But you know what you can do with your
Love to know
vinegar?
that.
You can add a little bit of essential oil to it.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a lavender or even
Lemon.
a lemon.
Jinx. Jinx. We love that. I'm not a big fan of, there's certain cleaning products. You know, when you go on into the grocery store now and you go even in the laundry aisle, everything is so heavily scented that it's almost hard to walk down the aisle.
It's
Like,
Totally.
why does
artificial.
It's artificial.
Like you said, like how do
Yeah.
you capture like fresh rain? It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not a real scent.
What was it?
That
Air
was.
Accord.
Oh yeah, it was like
Yeah.
Air Accord. What was
Air
that
Accord.
on Blue Ice? Yeah, Fresh Air Accord.
Okay,
Fresh
so
Air
far,
Accord.
without a doubt, we are loving the Asian Lily. Again, you guys, all these scents are the real scents that they pump through the casinos in Las Vegas. You can buy them at Aroma Retail. The people who actually work with the big hotels. So the cool thing about this, I geeked out. I've been to their location a couple times. They're super friendly.
Yeah, cool.
Super friendly. So do you know that they will sit down like with a property, like all of Marriott hotels, they'll sit down and they'll develop a scent together.
That's amazing.
Do you know that right here in Las Vegas, actually their location is accredited with the whole concept of a hotel, a property having a signature scent?
Wow. Do you think they would do that for the SawChuck household?
Yeah.
Because I kind of want my own scent for my house. Do you think do you think they make sense? Like,
So I
or
bet
do you have to be at hotel status?
your scent would be magic,
Magic
feathers,
Showgirl.
magic showgirls, and Chihuahua.
Yes.
Danny has 3 Chihuahuas.
3.
Yep. Okay, this one I'm super intrigued about. This is Asian Garden, not to be confused with Asian Lily. And this scent is in almost all, we looked at the list, right, Cass, of the MGM properties.
So almost all of them have the same exact scent.
Well, it seems like a lot of them shared it. It was
Yes.
like MGM, Luxor,
Okay.
Aria, what was it?
I think it was Aria,
Yeah.
MGM, and then Luxor.
Interesting.
Yeah, you had it right.
Yeah.
Whereas I know at the Wynn, and then their other properties, their sister property, Encore there. I know they have 2 different scents.
You do?
I do, yeah, because
How do you know that?
Because when I worked there for a brief moment, and in their gift shops, in the spas there, they sell
Either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting. Okay, we're going to need something to get this open.
How about my little claw
boy.
hands?
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. The bonus
By
of
the way,
not having
guys, if
nails.
you're watching, thank you for joining Danielle SawChuck and I. Johnny D. Domenico is down in Texas right now.
Texas.
Playing Trump. He's got a big gig. He's just left his rehearsal. He's on his way through the hotel to his room to try to join us on the broadcast. So we may be getting Johnny here in a
That's
minute.
cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to
Oh,
open
actually,
it? Yeah.
just as you said that, he jumped in
so,
here.
So if you want to chat with Johnny for a minute, we're going to need to get our earpieces in so we can hear him, Cass.
Absolutely.
But if you want to bring Johnny in, please do.
Yeah, let's get the scent. I want
Okay.
to know what the scent's
By the way,
like.
I
Oh.
think that this is my favorite one. I'm not going to lie.
What? Are you
Yeah.
kidding?
No.
All right, guys, this is the smell of all the MGM properties. Oh, that is so good.
It's like it's like creme
Really?
brulee.
Yeah,
Like
it's
delicious
more
vanilla.
It's more like female vibes.
Asian Gardens got Lily of
What-
the Valley,
what is it?
Jasmine, vanilla,
Vanilla.
It's the vanilla.
Tuberose.
Yeah, amber.
Gardenia.
and amber. What does amber smell like? That's my question. That seems like a rock.
I'm gonna go with like in the same kind of family of vanilla. I'm just totally making stuff up over here.
I mean, you got it right.
But-
There's vanilla in there.
But yeah, the vanilla is really strong. Trying to like, I don't smell a whole lot of floral at all. It's like
Really?
it's really creme brulee-ish.
It's very, very sweet and delicious.
Oh, I love that.
Okay,
wanna
speaking
eat
of
it.
sweet and delicious, I believe a gentleman who's about to turn a year older because next week is his birthday. I believe Johnny D. Domenico is going to join us. Johnny boy, can you hear us?
Hello, darling.
Yay!
Greetings from another hotel room.
Oh my God. So we've been smelling hotel rooms. This is the MGM. What does your hotel room smell like?
It doesn't smell like that. I'm here at the Home 2 Suites in Plano, Texas.
Sounds fancy.
Well, hey, why don't you sell it harder?
I did my room tour. It's actually a full like there's a kitchen
dang.
over there and a whole double beds. And
Look at
it's,
you.
It's huge. It's actually a really
amazing.
nice room, and it's a brand new build. So, I was at the airport and I posted something, and Murray posted, and then so I was like, oh, this is interesting. Danny's going to be on the show. I'm talking with Murray. This is why I love Las Vegas. It's so tiny. It's so
Oh my gosh, isn't that true? So Johnny, I don't want to say that Home 2 Suites is nicer than the room they gave you at Mohegan Sun, but I mean,
It
looks
actually is. I
huge.
mean, to have a full kitchen is pretty amazing. It's pretty, and I'm
Is that
only here. I mean, I go to the show at 5 o'clock. I go on. I'm on for like 3 hours. Then I'll be back here, and I'm out of here the first thing in the morning. So this is
That's
somewhat.
amazing. Is that a room divider? Do you have a whole?
Yeah, it's a curtain. You pull the
Wow.
curtain.
That's
So
when you know
can
the
sit
room
on.
is
So
quite
somebody
large.
can
Yes.
sit on the couch, and somebody can be on the bed, and they act like they don't know each other.
see, I need that in my house so that I can shut off my husband and his. I can protect myself from CNN. Oh
Too
my
much-
gosh. Okay.
Too much
so,
news.
there's just a lot of news. I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do, but right now I'm just like, I just, the less national news I hear, the better. I'm just
Oh, it's
trying to-
I'm
overwhelming.
with you. I'm with
stay
you.
stay calm.
What about
Stay calm.
What about what are your guys' thoughts about Trump working at McDonald's?
Oh, that was
Oh,
that
Well,
was a
you know,
great
I
PR
was
move.
there for 15 minutes, and now I totally understand what it's like to have a job there. It's so easy. It's so easy. I could do 40 weeks there on my feet, 40 hours a week.
I feel like
I did get my fry certification. I got my fry certification.
I think the job would be super easy if all of your customers were rehearsed.
Yes.
They were
And,
lined up.
and they adored you. Can you imagine a regular McDonald's person? Every person comes up, oh my God, Carolyn. Oh, I love you, Carolyn. I can't believe you're serving me. You're so wonderful, Carolyn. That would be the greatest job ever if everyone just fell over you when you showed up at work.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like we need your live footage. You know?
Well, here.
Ready.
Oh, the wig. Is that the wig? What
The
time do you get
wig,
into
the
the
wig,
wig?
the weave and the wig, the weave and the wig.
Yeah. Gotta have it. Wait,
Yeah.
did I hear this right? That your birthday's next week?
Yes, November 4th.
Oh my
November
gosh! High
4th.
five. We're both Scorpios.
And
Yeah,
me
and-
too.
Oh my
There's
God,
so
that's
many
right.
Scorpios
Yeah,
in this
yours-
room.
My birthday's
Yes.
Thursday.
And
Right,
Stacy
yeah.
Galandes just had a birthday, and you know, it's. I always think it's amazing. You go on the Facebook certain times of the year, and there's one or two people, and then you open it other times, and there's like 15 birthdays on one day.
You know,
Yeah.
we ought to just have like a joint birthday party next year.
Yeah.
Would be
I'm
great.
down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
then-
you both have your invites, as does Cass, because Cass put the invites out. So
I made the graphic, guys, if you've seen
you
it.
made the
Oh,
graphic.
the graphic for Johnny's birthday?
Yeah, on the Facebook page.
Oh, I
This
didn't
is
see.
great.
I have to look.
This is good stuff. So Johnny, so we're talking smells, and
love-
we really, really have a favorite. Like it's kind of a hands down.
Yeah.
I love that you're talking about this, and I'll tell you why. Because if I remember correctly, when I had read about this from the whole marketing aspect, that Las Vegas really engineered this whole scent thing in hotels, having a scent specifically for the hotel when you enter, and then when you go to certain other areas, and how rooms smell. And I just think that's brilliant because I love. Cass will tell you, I'm lighting candles. I'm always spraying stuff. I love scents. And I think it's such a wonderful layer to add on to your hotel experience.
I love this. So I love scents also. So we were looking at some of the flavor channels.
Profile?
Cass, can you? Yeah, profiles. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And so if I were to design a scent just specifically for my house, I think I do love vanilla. I think vanilla would be involved for sure. I do. I love a gardenia.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I think. I mean, we've got like
blue ice is nice
some
too,
real Italian energy in my house. So maybe a little basil thrown in.
Basil, a little oregano,
That's right.
side of marinara. Call it a day.
There's a lot of lavender. I love this lavender smell. I have that
Yes,
in the
lavender.
office.
Yes.
Kind of cuts through everything. But the smell I love the most, and I have to get some new candles, is the fir pine.
Yes. Yes.
I just love that.
Like
Yes.
a really authentic, evergreen tree smell.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, my
Oh my
husband loves
gosh.
that the most. because
Yeah.
it
Oh,
reminds
really?
him of Christmas.
Home.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Loves,
exactly. It's so many wonderful memories.
It'll be like middle of July, and he lights those candles, and I'm like, honey, it's not Christmas yet. He's like, I know, but I'm getting excited. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Christmas in July is a
Yes,
thing.
yep.
Well,
It really is in my house.
I think it's amazing how smells can be evocative of certain times of the year and certain memories and certain
Yes.
people. Somebody, do you remember the perfume Charlie?
Oh yeah.
And it had the
Charlie.
commercials.
That's taking it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, early 80s, right?
Charlie. Some of the girls in my high school wore that, the girls I fell in love with. And I just remember somebody, it was at a CVS behind the counter. I said, could I just, and it would, as soon as I smelled it, it just took me back, to the 80s.
Can
That's
I
so funny.
to a back seat somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Took you
We
way
were
back.
listening to Billy Joel.
Oh my God! By the way, Billy Joel coming to Las Vegas in about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Playing one show.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
At the Allegiant, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one and done.
Okay. Can I have an equivalent scent? And I don't know if you have a scent.
Okay.
Do you want to hear every teenage makeout memory for me involves the green bottle with the gold top, Polo. Ralph Lauren.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I still have that in my
Yes.
drawer.
Dude, let me tell you, I dare you to wear it. I'll probably give you a hug because that is a great scent for men.
It is. It's and I immediately go to collared shirts and sweaters or a
Yep.
polo under the
Yes!
collared shirt.
I actually bought that for my high school boyfriend. Like
You did?
Yeah, all the time. And then for the females, we love to wear light blue, Dolce and Gabbana. We used to wear that all the time. And now I put it on, and maybe because your pheromones change as
Yeah.
time. When I was younger, I used to love the smell. Now it smells
Can't
like
stand it.
can't stand it. It smells like baby powder. But I think my pheromones just have changed, and it just like nom 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 eats the scent up and leaves hardly any notes.
If you open my men's cologne drawer or whatever, I don't know if they call it cologne anymore. I think they've changed it, but it's.
I don't think so.
I think
Cologne's
it's
still a thing.
It's Polo, Kenneth Cole, and Drakkar. Drakkar
Yeah,
being
Drakkar.
the car.
Drakkar.
Love it.
Well, at least it's not high karate. So it's
That's very manly. Hey, so John, speaking of collared shirts and sweaters and Izods and stuff, that leads perfectly into what we were going to talk about next.
Oh yes, I know where you're going.
Because all the women that you're on with right now have been deep diving the Menendez brothers.
I just finished. Just finished 2 nights ago.
Well,
Which
just
one?
finished which? Monsters or the actual documentary?
Oh, I saw a documentary years ago, but I finished Monsters.
Got it. So have we.
Yes.
So have we.
Yeah.
Wow.
I watched both
What an
recently.
emotional roller coaster.
It's wild. I
thought
have to say,
I
check
just
out the
thought
documentary,
funniest
too.
part- I just thought the funniest part was when they were coming up with different scenarios and they had them all shooting at each other. Like the doors open and there's like 4 of them with shotguns pointing at each other. I thought that was hilarious.
yeah, it was very dramatic.
Yeah.
So, what were you saying? The
was gonna say-
documentary's interesting also. Yeah, I thought so too. Why did you think so?
My opinion about the overall story changed a little bit more when I saw the documentary. I think in a good way towards like, and I don't know what your opinion is, but after I watched the Netflix, I was just like, wow, these kids are terrible. After I watched the documentary, I realized that there's a lot more to the story that I feel like the Netflix version also left a little bit out. And you get to hear the brothers give live like commentary about where they're at right now. It was recently done like this past year.
Oh,
about
wow.
what they've done, with their lives and what their emotions and feelings were when things happened, how much they immediately regretted doing what they did. It just, to me, it played more on my heartstrings, I think, than Monsters did.
That's interesting. It was funny because my whole thing was when I heard the story and read the story and saw an older documentary, it was like, yes, obviously they did it. It sounded like horrible abuse. Not that that justifies killing your parents
Right.
because they had money and they could have gotten away. But that's where I was. Then the Netflix, that closing summation from the in the last episode with the prosecutor, I was like, wow. There just seemed to be certain parts in that if I'd been on that jury, I would have been like, oh yeah, the electric chair or for life. That's and I know it's dramatic effect, and we're all performers, and we know things are done for dramatic license. And Danny, just like you said, they obviously had to compress stuff at different points.
Of course.
So
I mean,
I'm definitely going to watch the documentary now.
Just the amount of time that the whole case went on. So I was in LA in 91 and then all through the trial. So I saw it happening. I think that all the media frenzy around it and just the amount of time it took. The other thing I found really interesting is how much the OJ case may have kind of affected it. And the fact that there was 2 trials. I think the documentary, what I thought was really important was to know that in the first trial, there were so many more witnesses, and it sounded like a lot of those skewed kind of in favor of highlighting the sexual abuse. But overall, I just felt such a heavy sadness. If you believe that the sexual abuse that was presented is true, I just felt such a heavy sadness for the whole situation.
And after watching the documentary, it's hard to believe that it's anything but true. Because
Really?
yes, 100%. And that's I guess that's the biggest difference for me between watching Monsters. I was like, okay, this could be fabricated. After watching the documentary, which also provides live footage, the live footage of the trial of the actual boys. I felt like in the Netflix Monsters, the actors were more dramatic, and the crying on the stand than the authentic.
So here are the actors. If you go back one.
By the way, I just have to say the woman who played the attorney,
yes,
phenomenal,
fantastic,
so good,
phenomenal,
so on point.
Like the difference, like
So
there's
here's
no
the
difference.
real life.
It's so close.
Well, and Cass and I were talking about how excellent the young men were. The 2 young men on the left.
Oh yes,
were the actors themselves.
Amazing.
I mean, just really dramatic roles, and they were so good.
And even in the documentary, guys, the prosecutor, she obviously doesn't think that they should get out of jail. She still thinks that, they probably fabricated most of it. But there is a moment where she admits, in the documentary, that the biggest problem she had in that first trial was that she could not find one person that knew their parents, whether it was family or work-wise, except for Jose, the father's secretary, that would say one good thing about them, about their temper, about how they saw or heard of some sexual abuse. So it's hard for me to believe that all those family members and people that grew up, like the cousin that the one boy told her, like, yes, my dad did this, and then she went and told Kitty, and Kitty was like, this didn't happen.
See,
She said this on the stand.
The cousin was staying in the basement. That was actually that testimony, or within the documentary, actually was probably the most powerful piece of evidence to me.
Yes.
That what they were saying was true. John, do you know the part we're talking about? Or have you not seen that? Because
I've
it's
seen
in
the
the
entire
documentary.
thing. I saw the entire thing.
They did talk about it in Monsters as well, but it seemed kind of like a little bit more like, that could be fabricated.
Yeah?
It didn't. Right. Yeah, they didn't they kind of went over a few things that I think were really important.
How about this, okay? How about this? I was really hung up on this. In the first trial, according to one of the female witnesses who was part of the documentary, she said when they came down for the first vote of the jury behind closed doors, which I think took a month, the first vote, all men in the room said they're guilty, and all the women said, hold on, maybe not.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
But guys,
That's really interesting.
If those two boys happened to be two girls, I think the trial would have gone in a
100
totally different direction.
I know exactly what you're saying. 100%.
Because I think back then, the thought of a father sexually abusing two boys was just unheard of, especially somebody of his nature,
But
his
it's
status and
been
wealth.
happening like forever. It's just so hard to wrap your brain around. People don't even want to have to process it.
So
Socially unacceptable.
this is what I don't understand in my life up until this point. And I know that people do lie. It is possible that these brothers are lying. But I will just say, in the sexual abuse that I have witnessed, in the mostly workplace situations where maybe like an older manager has an affair with a young person,
Right.
where, you know, the manager is obviously responsible to not do those things. In those situations I've witnessed my whole life, no one when the truth is revealed, no one wants to hear it.
It's ignored.
Why is there this like blanket denial of
I think
sexual abuse?
I think it's gotten better over time, obviously.
Definitely.
I think, I have an odd connection to this because my first wife, Donna, was a child therapist, and her area of expertise was child sexual abuse. So
You're
the 20
kidding me.
years we were together, I learned a great deal about it, and it's super heavy stuff, and you have to have it has to be handled a certain way in court, but people just can't they just can't believe it because they can't see it with their own eyes, but the evidence is there, especially in the cases where she was an expert witness on, or she was the therapist of the child who was sexually
of a very wealthy family living in Beverly Hills. You don't think that happens. You put that for
Right.
like the low income family, the parents that are the drug addicts or alcoholics at home with no job, living off
Or-
government money. Like,
How about this? Is your anger, okay, if indeed the father did this, I mean, we're all just horrified, right? We basically don't even want him. I have no problem if he is not alive, if he was really doing this to his sons. But then isn't there also really a special kind of awful feeling for the mother who knew it was going on?
100. I was gonna say. I thought you were going the other direction. I was gonna say almost worse. I don't know
Isn't
why.
that weird?
Yeah,
It
but a
shows-
lot of times they're kind of complicit and they're codependent on the abuser. And they've seen this with, I mean, you can see it with some, it's not the same thing, but it's similar. You've got some guys who are mass murderers who have girlfriends who help them recruit girls.
Right.
All the time.
Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein.
All the time.
Yep.
I mean, around well, and this it all leads back to Diddy. But
Oh boy.
I mean, it's just so fascinating to see people, and then how many times are people actually saved from these situations? So, yeah, I mean, if indeed they were abused, like they have laid out that they were,
Yeah.
I really do feel that they shouldn't be in jail now.
I think they've served their time.
Is it too late for us to evolve as a society?
This is one of the things about this story, which obviously since the 90s has captivated us as the public. I mean, we all remember when it was happening and it was huge, and then OJ came in and then it was huge again. But it's one of those things that we all feel, we all have parents, and we all have had maybe something. You may have animosity towards your parents. You obviously love them, whatever, but you find it hard to believe that two people raised who were functioning in society could kill their parents at close range. And then when you hear this, and then they obviously did it, but then to add on the fact that there was possibly sexual abuse, it complicates it so much. And they would need to have a story like that. And I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying in that situation, they would need to have something that bad to kind of mitigate what they did.
Listen, you are absolutely right. And I'm not close enough to the case to know if they needed one let's say they did do it and none of this is true. If they needed one excuse, that would be the one,
Right.
right?
That's the one. That's the winner.
You're right.
And Danny, in the documentary, did they talk about the fact that supposedly they had read a book on sexual abuse so they could pick the worst ones or whatever, like they mentioned in Monster? Because I was like, wait, is that a fabrication? Is that real?
The book where that the woman was helping, like the woman was helping write it.
Right.
Well, in the documentary, they actually like turn it around and say that basically, like she kind of used him and put the book out on her own and used things, and who knows how much of it was true. And he talks a little bit about that as well. The other thing, though, I wanted to ask you. Oh, I don't remember in Monsters. Do they talk about? I don't think so. You remember
How they
talk
were inspired about the movie in the first place?
Well, the documentary talked about Oprah, and Oprah 16 years later. Because what year was it, guys, that happened again? That was what?
89. 89, the murder. And then, yeah, Oprah waited about 16 years and then did a special on male sexual abuse.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes. And everybody in her audience, and one of the brothers talks about this, and he goes, Oprah did a whole thing about unleashing the truth that men, little boys, can also be sexually abused, whether it's from a male or female. It happens to them as well. So every person in her audience was a boy or a man holding their little boy photo of the age they were when they were first sexually abused.
That is
That's
so
powerful.
powerful.
And that was
gosh.
16 years after this case. And so the one of the Menendez brothers was explaining, like, she was the one that broke through and made it known, like, hey,
Duh.
this is kind of an issue. And he goes, that's 16 years after this happened to us. That's
Right.
how shunned it was. And about that book, I can't remember the exact details, but I do remember having a way different opinion. The way the information was presented in the documentary with the woman who wrote the book over the opinion I had when I watched it in the Netflix Monsters. It changed. And I was like, okay, I felt like Monsters had made it twisted a little bit so that you're like, oh, wow, that's really shady. Like that.
Right.
And the information that they presented explained more to me, that I was like, okay, I can cross that off my list. That doesn't bother me. It's interesting. You'll have to watch it. I can't wait
Yeah,
to see
no,
it.
it's just one of those things you want to kind of has nothing to do with you, but you're so fascinated by it and you want to learn, like, wait, who's lying? Who's telling the truth?
I
Who got
know.
railroaded? Who,
And at this point, they've done some great things with their life for what, they've had to work with. The one brother is an advocate for, child abuse and, survivors, and trying to help that community. And he's very involved. And then I forget the other brother. Oh, the other brother is like now this amazing painter.
Oh, the artist.
The artist.
Yeah.
They kind of tease that in the actual in Monsters
And
too.
to the point
They
where he
showed that,
keeps in touch with some of the female jurors, and like you'll see he sends one of that, like they all.
Oh, I saw that.
They all
he
talk
sent her
in
a
this.
painting. It was a beautiful
painting.
Yeah.
And the fact that these jurors, after all this time, have still stayed in touch with them, and they write, and now he's painting for them. Like, I think that shows a lot about someone's character. You don't spend 35 years holding on to a friendship.
communicating.
Right. Why
Yeah.
would you even care to? Why would you bother to? You know what I mean?
Just so fascinating.
It's
Yeah.
really fascinating. Of course, all the information we're getting is just sort of storytelling
Right.
at
Right.
this point. You know what else I thought though was this really kind of threw a wrench in their whole image, was the really excessive spending they did right
yeah.
after their parents died. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I also thought the
help.
Didn't help.
the Porsche dealer, the salesman from the Porsche dealer,
Yes.
when he
Yes.
said he was just like, you saw the
Spoiled
scene,
brat.
and I thought that doesn't comport with someone who'd been sexually abused. They would have just like accepted it and moved on.
I don't know. I thought, okay, so the way I interpreted that, okay, so the scene is that I think it was Eric, wasn't it? Was given a car for his
The
birthday.
one who wears the
Yes.
one who wears the two. I can never remember.
two
which
bag,
one's
yeah.
which.
That's
Eric. So that
The older
he
one.
And it was like, it was that perfect, like, 1989 hot car to have that you'd see, like, Tom Cruise driving around in or whatever.
Yeah, right.
It was like a little
The
red MGM or something.
one rich friend in your high school had, or like,
Dude,
Yeah.
the rich kid at your high school,
Yeah.
exactly. And he threw a big fit at the car dealer that this car was shit and he didn't want it. And I don't know. I mean, I think clearly there was multiple layers of evidence that there were spoiled rich boys.
Yes.
But being a spoiled rich boy doesn't also mean there isn't a whole other layer
Right.
of being completely controlled
Yes.
by this very domineering man.
Yes.
I get that
100%.
part. I thought it was interesting that, and obviously we don't know, but like Javier Bardem's, who gave an incredible performance, both Chloe and Javier Bardem, everybody in that show just gave amazing performances. But he seemed like kind of disappointed and almost docile getting shit from his son, and his friend was there, and then it's like, oh, was he performing for his friend? Was this a performative thing? He wanted to show up for his friend that he could stand up to his dad, or there's a lot of different stuff. But I just thought, wow, he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So
And then it's hard when you see that, and it's hard to like rationalize anything.
right,
You know?
like now it's like, yeah, like you just said, like a monkey. Now it's a total monkey wrench. Now you don't know what to think. You're
Yeah.
back to square one.
Yeah, totally. And that makes for some good TV there,
That
doesn't
certainly
it?
does. And I love the
tell ya.
fact, I love these I always think of mini series back when we were younger and on ABC, a mini series. But these limited series shows on Netflix and Amazon are just so great. They bring in such amazing talent. They're able to tell these stories in like 6 1-hour plus episodes. And you really get a much better feel for it than as opposed to a 90-minute or 2-hour TV movie, and they have to sanitize it. That was probably the first time I saw it was like an old version of it. But this was much deeper and so much more, to have a budget to really have this evocative 1980s, from the music to the way they dressed and the cars and everything. It really takes you back to that time.
I haven't Googled this yet, but whenever I watch real, like, true crime, I always Google the facts. Like, did they really play Milli Vanilli at the funeral of the parents?
That was
I'm
true.
dying to
Oh my
know.
I
gosh,
checked
yes.
that. I
Did they?
checked that.
It was true.
That was true.
Girl, I'm gonna miss you.
I think there's something missing from the story
Yes.
about their relationship with their mom,
Yes.
Oh.
which was intimated when she did the wiener check a couple of times.
Wiener check.
Yes.
Yeah, it was in the show. She would
Yes.
check their penis.
Because the father
Was I?
was upset and worried that one of them might be gay, the one that he abused for that long.
Yes.
And was afraid that he would get
AIDS.
some sort of AIDS or
Syphilis, some kind of a lesion or something. So the mother had gotten to the habit of checking it.
and then that also brought up questions for her and was part of the when she addressed it to the husband, to Jose, she said, oh, kind of beat around the bush about asking about touching the boys in any sense, because why would he be so concerned about the one son about getting something?
Yeah.
Right. Only if he was also with that one son and he didn't want a transmittable disease,
Right.
because he's having sexual
Right.
sexual activity with.
This is a very, very disturbed
It is.
family.
But I have to say that for the most part, the boys in the documentary, they still wish that it had never had happened. But of course, it's easy to do now at this point. But they do speak somewhat highly, like maybe highly is not the right term, but they do say nice things about their mom, and they do say that they wish that she was still here, that they wish that there was some way that they didn't have to
Kill her.
Yeah. But they felt, and they admit, he says, and this was filmed this past year, he says, but we didn't feel that there was any way around it, because we had to kill my dad. This is how we felt. And there was no way that we would be able to not kill my mom.
Right.
Because then what do you do? Like, obviously their plan didn't work in the first place, but but they do say that he's like, I wish that I still had a relationship with my mom. I wish I could just hug her some days. Yeah. Even though a couple sentences earlier, he said that he knew that his mom was pretty sure of it, but kind of turned a blind eye to the sexual abuse happening. And he tried not to really blame his mom. He kind of felt that she was subjected to the same type of, maybe not sexual abuse, but just control and abuse from their father as well, so that the boys kind of forgive the mom, is what they explain.
Right, Danny. In the documentary, was there any mention of his father, the father's father, the grandfather, that he did this to him? Because this just doesn't come out of the ether.
Oh yeah, typically it gets passed down. Yep. No, I never heard any reference to that, but you're right. Like we didn't hear anything about the parents,
found that interesting.
Their origin, or like, didn't the father come from Cuba?
Yeah, he came from Cuba, and
right.
And they're a little, I'm not gonna cast aspersions on Cubans, but in any culture, this has obviously happened. It's happened since the beginning of time.
Right.
It would just be very interesting to find out if his father was doing anything like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Which I don't understand, because they didn't really talk much about that in the documentary. They give some family background behind them. They do imply that the grandfather was of a similar nature as Jose, so that dominant, controlling, sometimes like maybe abusive, but they didn't really say, so they didn't really touch much upon that. So I'm like, well, how did the Netflix monsters, how did they get that piece, where he calls his dad and he's crying, and the grandfather, and he's like, how could you do that to me? And then hangs up.
Yeah, I'd like to know more. And I think that's a kind of a missing piece. One of the things I wanted to mention, there's a super powerful scene, and obviously this has to be, I'm assuming it's conjecture, but it's breakfast. He's sitting there having a cup of coffee by himself, and she comes in, and he says, it's a very tense moment. He says, I don't love you anymore. Do you remember this scene?
Mm-hmm. Says that to who?
He says that to his wife. And it's a really powerful, moving scene. And the energy goes back and forth. It's beautifully written. This has nothing to do with the story. It has more to do with like a beautifully written scene done by two amazing actors.
Yes.
Because the energy just keeps changing, and she throws it back in his face, but not in a mean way. And I was just like, God, there were so many great moments that they did in this project.
I would say there's probably some award-winning performances.
I would say
in
that
this.
too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And monsters for sure.
Really good.
100%. But even just that moment of just saying, like, I don't love you anymore, just goes to show, you've got this woman who, she's been a stay-at-home mom in Beverly Hills. She doesn't work. So, she's very reliant on, her husband and the family. So to say I don't love you, and now it's kind of like, oh, where's my place in the world? What does that mean for me? Like, that's a control thing for him, to like kind of put her in a place and be like, remember, if I don't love you, I could leave you, and if I leave you, you'll have nothing.
I just felt that father was just the most evil creature on earth.
I know.
I just thought it was horrible.
I know. I agree.
Yikes.
So this was our upbeat, happy show, right?
So anyway,
rainbows and butterflies.
This is our 21st episode, Johnny. So we're barely legal.
21.
Oh, I love that. I love that graphic, Cass. Oh,
that's all JJ. That's credits to JJ.
Credits to JJ.
There you go. So Johnny, we miss you. We
miss you guys.
It'll probably still smell like the wind when you come back to the studio.
Right to me. I love
There's a new candle waiting for you.
Yeah, oh, my birthday gift.
That's right. Happy birthday from the Bellagio. There you go.
All right. Well, I got to shave and shower and start the Trumpy process.
Or maybe go work at McDonald's in between.
Maybe.
Yeah, throw in a shift.
Never know.
Make some fries.
Did he eat some of the fries, by the way?
Probably not.
I'm sure he did.
I'm sure he did as well.
Totally.
Man alive.
Oh my
Oh
God.
gosh.
All right. Good to see you, Johnny boy.
You too. Thanks for stepping in, Danny. Bye, Cass.
Bye,
everybody.
Wow. Okay. Well, we deep dived on that show. That's for sure.
Crazy,
right?
So I mean, I guess just to sum that up, they left it off. They left that they are going to what? Where is it at now? They're going to have.
There's some kind of, even though they were life in jail without bail.
Yes,
there's some kind of a hearing coming up.
Yes.
Cass, can you look it up for us right now and just see what it is? So I want to stay away from the tabloids, maybe a little bit, and see if we can get some kind of a source for what kind of review is coming up for them.
Current status. Okay, well that doesn't.
Living
Serving
behind
life
bars.
behind bars.
Yeah, well.
I saw that the woman, there was in the credits at the end of the documentary, the female attorney actually declined to be interviewed for the documentary, but did say, there was something kind of remorse for the outcome, but that it was the law. So that it was the ruling that was, made. And so it's a matter of, that ruling still being upheld.
Because, and I know there's been even one more update since that documentary came out. I think that they did get the okay, the go ahead recently, like last week in LA, to have this revisited.
That's what we're
about
looking
getting
for,
out.
is what exactly did they ask for last week?
Yeah.
What is this current?
It looks like there's some new evidence.
That's right.
It includes a letter that Gardner says was written by, I think Gardner was someone they interviewed for this article. This is CBS. Was written by Eric Menendez to Eric's cousin, Andy Cano, in December 1988, about 8 months before the crime. The letter reads, in part, I've been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening, Andy, but it's worse for me now. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in. I'm afraid he's crazy. He warned me 100 times about telling anyone, especially Lyle. There's like a whole letter here. Maybe I can show you
And they found
guys.
it, I think, because the cousin passed away recently and it was found. And because of this letter, it's now new evidence that's relevant to the case that could have changed the case even back then, which is why they have to consider.
I mean, basically what they're doing is let's open this box up again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what was really interesting, you always have to understand the time and place in which something took place. And when they went to jail, it was the second trial. And also the prosecutors in LA just had a lot of pressure, especially after the OJ case kind of, many people would consider that OJ got off.
Right.
And that made them look really bad. And so that this case had gone on for so long. And then it actually was looked at as kind of a victory if they were able to get these guys in jail, which is just gross. That's just politics, right?
Yeah.
And they admitted a lot of, I think, extremely important information for that second trial.
Right.
Not bringing in any witnesses to, talk about the true nature of their parents and and even like the cousin who told the mom about the sexual abuse. All these things I think are really important. It's not going to change the fact that yes, we know they killed their parents, but it helps you to see things in a bit of a different light and makes me think, well, you know what? I think 30 plus years of my tax dollars is plenty of time for them to serve in prison. Now they can get out and...
I am dying to know this. I wonder if you guys have thought of this as well. Do they have a ton of money in savings if they would, for any reason, get out?
I looked this up.
What happened to their money?
Spill it.
So in California, in the state of California, if you commit... I'm going to try to explain this the best I can explain. If you commit a murder, that money you're no longer entitled to it, your family money. So it gets put into it either got put into a trust or something and passed down to their family. It was no longer theirs. So I'm pretty sure at this point there probably isn't any money left, I would imagine.
Okay, so they'd be like starting over.
Yeah, but like like when we were talking about this at home, they could get out. They could do like 1 or 2 like big interviews with Oprah or something, get paid $1 million, and then live a very conservative
if they
life.
wanted to do the circuit.
And just put themselves out there media-wise.
Do the Prince Harry.
Sell some of those paintings.
Yeah.
Right?
I bet people would pay
Yeah.
big money for
Yeah.
this painting.
Isn't
I bet
that
It
true?
would be worth so much.
And
Right?
is he able to sell the paintings in jail right now?
Oh.
I don't know.
Actually, if you think about it, like no matter what the obviously you have to follow the law, but just the fact that they killed their parents, you would sort of think they wouldn't be entitled to the inheritance, like no matter what the situation.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, I wonder though, now this I'm not so sure, if they had been convicted of manslaughter, which is like they would have been there for 7 to 10 years, and not like
First degree
murder. That could change on what the state is
the
allowed to do
inheritance.
with their inheritance. But now, if they come back and they
Super
let them
interesting.
out, I don't know. Does that mean that the state would have to also pay them money? Or no?
No.
No, probably not.
We got a
They're not
great-
there.
a
They're like,
great-
you're lucky enough
I
to
mean,
get
I
out.
don't know.
We got a great comment from Mr. Robbie. His opinion is murderers should never be released. Even if there are mitigating circumstances, do you still have to pay the consequences?
Yeah, and that's a fair opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because part of me agrees with you, Mr. Robbie, that, you know, yeah, a person who's actually capable of that, you know, you're a detriment to society once you've proven that you can take another person's life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in some ways I agree with you. But I do think, again, I was so deeply horrified at the possibility, like, to me, there's nothing more disgusting than sexually abusing a child. I just can't even.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
And if not making excuses, but this family had a lot of wealth and power, to the point where the father was paying off the kid's psychologist so that he would take the data, certain things, and manipulate it so that the previous time that he got in trouble, the courts would okay it. He was controlling even like what his therapist would do and say.
Yep.
He had pretty bad ethics.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I suppose so.
pretty much. Yeah, suppose so.
So it's like I
Yep.
can see why everyone's like, oh, why didn't they just run away? I'm like, well, also they were in their early 20s, trapped at their house, and literally, if they ran away by the time they were found again, I don't know that he would have not done something more terrible. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure in retrospect they see that as an option, but
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the time, I really, when the one son said I wanted to go away for college, and my dad said no, you're going
Right.
to live at home and go to UCLA, and that was his breaking point.
Yeah.
And I was like, it sounds true.
It's like he can't even talk to
Yeah.
his therapist because his therapist is being paid off and controlled by his dad.
Yeah.
He can't go away to school because, you know, that's being controlled by his dad. And the second that if he did try to run away, he'd be financially cut off, which fine, I guess go get a job like the rest of us. But like, how long does that last for? With somebody that who's that rich and powerful probably would
Yeah.
send a team of people to go drag him back, you know?
Not only that, like that's your whole life, like the way you grew up. So I don't know if he even possessed the life skills at that age to
Right.
be able to do it. You know, and that's
Agree.
like home and comfort, and
Right.
that's hard to leave.
Well, and I guess if you think about it like this, at this point, neither one of them have actually had a job their entire life.
I know.
Yeah.
So-
I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty. I
That's
was
pretty
like,
wild,
oh,
right?
that's
Like they
pretty
would have to
bad.
get out and like sell their story for an
Right.
Oprah interview, a 60-minute or something, to
Right.
be able. Because I mean, unless they sell the paintings, but they
gosh.
probably don't really have any skills.
All right, I'm bringing on our sense again,
Yes,
guys.
sense.
Well, it's been a deep dive into the Menendez
know.
story. What is fun about this, if anything could be fun about this story, is that so many people in the country are watching the same thing, and there's like
Yes.
a big discussion going on.
Yeah.
I like that it's been revived. And
Yeah.
it's an interesting
Yeah.
discussion based on like society norms now compared to back then, and how much more we understand sexual abuse, especially towards younger men.
Well, that's so true, and that's exactly right. All right, I'm sending you home with your favorite scent. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
You
excited.
get a scent.
Yeah,
You get a
thanks.
scent.
And you get a scent. She likes the MGM. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us for episode 21. We'll see you next week.
Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Have
Thanks,
a
JJ.
Like, comment, subscribe. Danielle Elizabeth SawChuck. Thanks, Cass.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.